Come on. Come on. Sorry, I was telling Gooch before, this used to be so much easier when you just could just use the stream key, but now you gotta like do it all through Zoom.
That's a pain.
Yeah. All right, sweet. We just went live.
Oh, sweet.
Okay, you should be able to find the link Gooch to tweet out.
Yeah.
All right, sweet. I'll just give the intro then. All right, sweet. Oscars, 97th Oscars. Reaction, quick reaction. Myself, Gooch, and Jeff D. Lowe. This is a year where, and me and Gooch were just talking about it a second ago, pretty weak year as far as like some of the nominees went. And this is a pretty fucking good show. This is, I think, one of my favorite shows that I've seen out of the Oscars in a pretty long time.
I think this is my favorite show of my lifetime.
That was, yeah. I mean, that's strong. I mean, I guess it's personal opinion, strong take, but yeah, it's pretty good. So I don't hate that. I was kind of a boring show in terms of things that happened. Nothing was that crazy. There was no shocker. There was no real
No,
upset. So in terms of that, that's kind of a bummer.
Yeah.
I think the Parasite one's probably one of my favorites. But in terms of like hosting and stuff and construction,
That's what I mean.
felt very old school. Um, Conan is going to give you the same thing he's given you for 30 years, and that is corny jokes, making fun of himself, being able to roll with anything, and being well liked by everybody in the room. And
Mhm.
there was at times where I liked Kimmel's hosting, but the more he hosted, the worse it got. And the further he strayed away from, I mean, like one of the first times he hosted, he did this amazing bit about, he had this whole bit the whole night about people, their favorite theater going experience. And he landed the joke with like it was like a We Bought a Zoo reference. And it was great.
Mhm.
And like he never went that far deep into movie stuff again after that. And that's like, well, what's the point of that? So yeah, this was great. I'm also a huge Conan fan, but yeah,
Yeah.
good stuff.
It's better than doing the scattered hosting thing where it's like let's have different people do every single thing and no specific host. I like that way better. I agree with you. Like a lot of these jokes, like some of them are corny and bad, but he's so funny and likable that like it's good. Like if Jimmy had delivered those jokes, I'd be like, wow, look at this fucking loser and his horrible joke. But that's because he's Jimmy Kimmel and because Conan is just significantly funnier. Like his Carla Sofia Gascon joke right off the top,
Mhm.
right to her face, very good. The what was it the
Yeah.
thousand they said fuck you or fuck 500 times, just as many as her publicist. But yeah, I thought he was really good. As far as the rest of the show goes, figure we could just break down a couple of just like the moments that happened within the show, and then we can just go through the winners really quick. Uh,
Are you sure we're live?
we should be.
Oh, okay. Hold on. There's two different live links. Sorry. Keep
Okay, yeah,
going.
I see we're live. Yeah, okay. Sorry, fuck me up. But yeah, so I figure we can go through some of the moments first and then we could just touch on the winners. The first big thing they did was the James Bond tribute. Kind of like it was kind of like in middle of the movie or it's not like James Bond is dead, but they acted like it was like a funeral for James Bond as gets handed over to Amazon, which is kind of funny. Doja Cat, Lisa from who now is a lot of people are knowing more from White Lotus and Rain. I'll perform some of the big songs. Some of them are good, some of them are bad. We mentioned some of this in our group chat. Doja Cat maybe we didn't have the full vocal range to do some of some of those songs, but the rest of them I thought were pretty good.
They so I tweeted out during the Bond thing the video from Tim Heidecker's show on Cinema at the Cinema. One of the guys on there, Greg Turkington, who you may recognize from like just very small things, also has the roles of Ant-Man. Um, he did is a whole bit about doing James Bond, like doing like a 007 tribute, like years ago on their Oscar special. And I tweeted out the clip of that. And in my head, I'm like, I feel like I've done this before because they did do it. They did a tribute to Bond 2 years ago or three
Two
years ago,
years
Yep.
ago.
2022 Oscars.
Oh,
Now it
holy
wasn't like
shit.
this. It wasn't
We
like
didn't
just
die.
three performances, but there was a 60th anniversary tribute to Bond. I'm like, I swear I've seen this before on this show. It's the third time, second time they've done it in like 5 years.
I mean, they treated him like he was dying. Like he died. Like that is
Yeah.
exactly what they went up there and did. They basically acted like the franchise was over. They were like, there's like James Bond's he's gone through a lot of different eras, a lot of changes, a lot of updates. But Barbara Broccoli's always been there. We're gonna miss you,
Mhm.
Barb. And it's just like it's
Like
over.
like she's going to like an old folks home or something. You know what I mean? Like it's like she's not dying. Like she's gonna be around. Like she can go do a different movie if she wants to. But yeah, that was a little strange. But other than that, I thought it was kind of cool. Margaret Qualley came out just unbelievable,
Yeah,
unbelievable.
I thought the production on that was like great up into the execution of singing the songs. Like
Yeah,
those are some crazy choices to pick as songs if you don't have the vocal range to back it up. It's like an
yeah.
American Idol when someone will try and sing like Aretha Franklin and it's just like don't do that to yourself. Just don't
Mhm.
do that to yourself. And that's what they were out there doing. Like don't try
I
and cover Adele.
I was kind of curious why they wouldn't, and I'm assuming they tried, but like
Oh yeah.
Adele feels like a gettable person for them to get for Skyfall. Like she lives in LA. She's like she's the biggest fucking Hollywood night of the year. Like they didn't make a good enough pitch to her.
I
Like,
get it though. She performed it when she won.
yeah,
So
Mhm.
like why do it again? Also, if it's a tribute, you don't put the person up there who the tribute's for, right? It's
true.
like I
I guess
get
so.
that. But also, I mean, that's an iconic Oscar-winning song too. You could have also put other, you could have done something to a grander scale.
Dude, have Cynthia Erivo do it. I would have rather
Right.
someone with like legit pipes to do that.
You know what they
Um,
should have done? They should have done an Austin Powers tribute.
yeah,
Because
Soul
at one
Bossa
point
Nova.
they did the Soul Bossa Nova
They
for
did
Quincy
play it.
Jones at one point.
Yeah. Conan had a good movie theater skit where
Yep.
it was try this new version of streaming. Was it what do you call it, Cinestream or something like that? It was
Yeah.
like come to the theaters and watch it. That was really good. The In Memoriam was like I liked having like Morgan Freeman come out and do the whole thing for Gene Hackman. That was really nice. But then the music that they picked for the In Memoriam, that like Mozart song, was very like I was watching like, am I about to die? Like what is this? This is such a fucking dreary
Strange.
song choice.
Very strange. They forgot Tony Todd.
Yeah, that's
Hmm.
true.
That's a
And
big
fucking
omission.
Michelle Trachtenberg.
A,
Yeah, Michelle
a
Druckmann,
long,
which like you can't
yeah.
even say the just passed away thing because that's what happened with Gene Hackman. That's very odd. Yeah, very odd. Especially, I mean, Quincy Jones is like he has movie ties, but even Quincy Jones, like, I mean, I think like it's music first. It's just kind of
Mhm.
odd, like leave a couple people out. I don't know, just weird, just kind of strange.
Yeah. Speaking of Quincy Jones, he got that big tribute with Oprah and Whoopi Goldberg coming out for him, and then they introduced Queen Latifah, who just did this big fucking massive number with like 50,000 extras dancing all around her, which is crazy. But
Fucking
yeah, I mean,
Equalizer. Show some
yeah,
show some goddamn respect to the Equalizer.
in respect to the Equalizer. You ever see that clip? And I think we mentioned it before. I forget what movie it was from, and maybe it was Taxi.
Yeah.
Uh, where she's driving the dirt bike and like the guy's doing whoever the stunt guy's doing, he has the helmet on, doing these insane tricks, and then like it just cuts to her taking the helmet off right after. Like it's so fucking funny. And
Crazy.
then
I was like, so much because of Wicked, so much Wizard of Oz to do
yeah,
a The Wiz tribute for the Quincy Jones tribute is just it's unbelievable. The Wiz, directed by Sidney Lumet,
yeah.
one of
And
the wilder facts there is.
the last big thing I think I would note is that Brody, in the middle of his speech, which was going on a very long time, just shut down the music. He's like, "Shut that shit off! Shut that shit off!" Like, I'm not done yet. I promise I'll be brief. He was not brief. He just kept going on and on and on. It was a bit much.
I, I mean, fuck him. He's an absolute tool bag. I mean, a good
Yeah,
win. Trust me, like he very deserving win. I would have loved to see other people in that category win, but he deserved it. That
Mhm.
acceptance speech was such an asshole move up there. Cut the music. I've been here before. He's rambling, trying to get to thanks about Harvey Weinstein's son. Like, yeah, no, he's an asshole.
Yeah.
I
Uh,
don't I don't know like I guess what I expected with Brody. That's just who he is. Like he's not like he kind of got blackballed from the industry for multiple things. One of them being that weird Rastafarian thing he did on SNL. Like he's always been kind of known as like a pretentious asshole. And maybe, like the joke, I guess, was kind of funny, but then like he did not wrap it up. It's just weird. It's like, I mean, I'm glad he won. He deserved it. The AI thing, I landed on eventually not being bothered by it. I think it's kind of bizarre. I don't think it's a great idea on their part. I think it was wholly unnecessary. I actually think I think it destroyed the Brutalist. I think it shot Corbett and the movie's chances of winning Best Picture dead. It just didn't seem to affect the person who actually,
mhm.
obviously performance
Yeah.
impacted. I'm also glad Shelmy didn't win for this because I do think he's going to win one soon. and I think it's going to be for a significantly better role than
Agreed.
just a stamp cookie cutter Bob Dylan performance. Like, I mean,
Yeah,
because I think he also was in a movie this year where he had a better performance as well. So
exactly.
That's very true. It would be I mean, it would be amazing. I'm not sure if Paul Atreides is going to be the role. It should be, but it would be amazing if he wins his first for Paul Atreides.
I just
Yeah.
don't like, I don't know, like think back to when Lord of the Rings won. Like obviously Elijah Wood's not gonna, win Best Actor
Hmm.
for Lord of the Rings. But I like maybe there's a bias there, but I legitimately think, and like I think that it is a fantastic, like award-worthy role as Paul Atreides. Like that is a
Hmm.
transformative, powerful. It dominates the screen. And it's a big reason why it works and why that movie works and why that franchise has continued to become just beloved and why people are angry online that it didn't win every award tonight. So I don't know. Maybe it's biased, but that thing should absolutely be a nomination for him. Hopefully he gets it with Messiah.
To get back to the AI thing, by the way, I think what I landed on with it is like I never found the acting in Hungarian to be what I found impressive about Brody's performance, and like that's what they edited with the AI was like they tweaked his Hungarian accent. Like that was never like when he was speaking Hungarian, that was never the parts where I was like, wow, he's doing really well here.
Yeah.
Like it was when he was speaking in a broken Hungarian English accent, like, and that was an AI, so that's the part I think was good. So I don't know. I figure we could run through the winners really quick as in the order of their appearance. First being Best Supporting Actor, Culkin, about as big a lock you can get, beat Guy Pearce would be the only close second, I think, really out of this grouping. Like he was so good. Guy Pearce was unbelievable in the Brutalist. Yuri Borisov, Ed Norton, and Jeremy Strong as well. Jeremy Strong, actually, I would say too, was very
Yeah,
close.
Strong was
Really
very
good.
good. Fucking
Yeah.
weirdo.
If that movie wasn't Trump, I do think like he wins in that category. Like I think he's really, really good, but it's it's very hard to move past the fact that it's like a Trump origin story.
Mhm. It was a
Um,
tough one.
Kieran
Um,
probably best be like, was that the best speech we got all night? That was a definitely one of the wilder speeches.
I think Baker was a better speech. I do think it
yeah,
was
Baker's
very.
was great.
I thought he was kind of bad at SAG. You could kind of tell he was saving it.
Hmm.
He was kind of like, whatever, like I got one more week. Let me just get to the Oscars, do my good speech. His speech was, I thought, was a fantastic speech.
Yeah. I would say it is funny just going up on the stage in front of all your respective peers and be like, I'm gonna fuck my wife tonight. I'm gonna fuck
Yeah.
my
Crazy.
wife so hard, dude. You got no goddamn idea.
Four
uh,
kids. He's holding up four like
yeah,
like
yeah,
Michael
dude.
Jordan.
That dude's Kieran is that little guy's hitting it raw. Best animated movie, Flow won. Wild Robot was the favorite and
Mhm.
beat Inside Out 2, Wallace and Gromit, and Memoir of a Snail. But I mean, Flow was awesome, really good movie, and I think a lot of people are seeing it now because they just recently dropped on Max, and now everyone's like, "Holy shit, Flow was awesome, really good movie." The Wild Robot would be the only other one I would even have close to it. So very, very well deserved win.
Yeah,
Flow.
good odds on it. If you bet it, I put up my best bets this morning, and that was one of them, plus 200. It was one of those ones where it just felt like that really should have been the favorite. It won at a bunch of other circuits. It was clearly the more viral movie, especially as
Yeah.
of late. The guy on, like, he got the nomination, there was a viral moment. Sometimes you got to follow those tea leaves, and it just felt like that was going to be the win there.
Hmm.
More nominees should incorporate their pets into their
Yes.
Oscars campaign. That guy knew
Yes.
exactly what he was doing, throwing up those videos of him with his golden retriever in his bed,
Mhm.
accepting their nominations. It's a great storyline, and the movie
Yeah.
rules. If you haven't watched it yet on Max, go check it out tonight. It's a quick watch. It's great. It really is.
He's a good tweeter too. Just in general, like you were saying, there's all those posts and everything. Best costume went to Wicked, beat Complete Unknown, Conclave, Gladiator 2, Nosferatu. Like Nosferatu and Conclave would be the only other two I'd really be like maybe, but like Wickeds were really, really good. So it's not like it's something you could really be like complaining about, really.
Mhm.
That was
Um,
another one though where I, I know Gooch likes the movie, but Gladiator 2, that deserves no
None.
time
I
on
agree.
this broadcast.
It was also like the longest presented award of the night,
Oh,
it
she
felt
she
like.
couldn't get it out.
Dude, it was tough. And that and also the whole bit with like Bone Yangs in his silly little costume. So
Yes.
funny. Like, yeah, whatever.
I will say it led to maybe my favorite joke of the night, which was after Flow 1, Conan gets back out there and says, you know, it's Latvia's first win. Your move, Estonia. He comes back out. He's like, that's the first black man to win in costume design. Your move, Estonia. That
Yeah,
killed me. That killed me for no reason.
that was a great bit. Best original screenplay went to Honora, Beat A Real Pain, September 5, The Substance, and The Brutalist. Real Pain is the only one I would even put close to it, and it's only because of like a collection of scenes. But Honora was so good; it was unbelievable. It was such a
Yeah.
good screenplay, like so tight, so funny, just good. Sean Baker's just an incredible mind, you know.
I actually thought there was a chance that that was going to upset it at the last second. There were some things I was reading where people suggested that just the way people talked about that movie, that it might lead to kind of surprise screenplay. Screenplay is a place where you can get those upsets, but um, I mean, obviously, my whole, and we'll talk about it more when you get to Best Picture, but my whole thing with Anora was I just didn't know if how it would clean up with Academy voters, especially with Best Picture, just because it's a grading movie. It's not like, it's not this light, it's a softcore porn.
Yeah,
So
it's a
I mean,
softcore porn with the uncut gems, basically.
yeah. So like, I just didn't know, and like I wanted it to win. I mean, realistically, I knew Dune 2 wasn't going to win, so I we moved one down the ladder to Anora, and so I wanted to win, but I'm like, I don't know. I guess I can't see. I guess I can't see winning, but I guess we'll get to that. Yeah.
Mm.
No,
Uh,
I did. I won't lie. I started to wonder what would happen there. I kind of actually took that as a sign that Brutalist was gonna kind of peel away. Because Jeff, I could be wrong here. Isn't screenplay kind of where if they get a bunch of
Not
crossover
anymore.
nominees from director to, oh, not anymore. It did used to
No.
be the case, right? Where it was kind of
Screenplay was
the
considered a
consolation
consolation.
prize. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's just that it's become not the case in the last like 6 or 7 years. But no, yeah, that is
Mm.
dead on. That is what it used to be. Where if you won screenplay, like you probably weren't winning Best Picture. But they've gone, which is how that should work. If you, it's
Yeah.
then just make a runner-up award if you're gonna do, like, I don't, like, that's not how the award should go. If it's the best at both, it should be the best at both. So no, it has, which is a good trend for the Academy, which is rare to say, become a
Mhm.
just almost a predictor for Best Picture rather than a consolation.
Best original screenplay, or sorry, best adapted screenplay went to Conclave, beat Emilia Perez, Nickel Boys, Sing Sing, and Complete Unknown. Conclave, another super tight one, and there's a lot of like, and it's tough for me to tell like if, and maybe that's just shows like at the movie is like to tell what is good about some of the scenes where I'm like, is it the writing or is it how like Ray Fiennes is delivering it or is it what? Like I don't know, but it was a super tight script and just great movie. I mean, Conclave should have gotten. It got plenty of nominations, but I feel like it won a lot more. But really like their screenplay as well.
Yeah, I didn't love Conclave, but I also, it's like, I recognize it's a really solid, good movie. And if you tell me that you think it's great, I like won't even debate you. Like, and the way it's written was fantastic. Like, all the dialogue was snappy and very intriguing. So yeah, super deserved.
Mhm.
Yeah, I'm like you, Kinjek. I really don't know how to evaluate the adapted screenplay category because I wonder about the voters too. Like, are they reading the original source material and then
No.
grading on how like exactly? I'm happy Conclave did get the win here. They didn't win a ton tonight, but like Jeff said, just a rock solid movie. Really.
Mhm. Makeup and hairstyling went to The Substance, beating out Amelia Perez, Wicked, A Different Man, and Nosferatu. I mean, The Substance, odds on favorite, fucking amazing, so good, very like body horror Cronenberg. I love all the stills that they showed of it during its win. Just like, oh, just so fucking disgusting, so gross, and so well done. So another
What's the
good,
point? Like, what's the point of that category if that doesn't win?
exactly,
Like, right?
exactly.
Like, that's, I mean, though, well, Nosferatu, I mean, incredible. But I mean, the substance is, I mean, it's so based around that. It's like, what else should have won that?
hmm I'm just looking at Gucci's Babylon poster up on his fucking wall.
This is
Loser.
this is my girlfriend's apartment. That's why I just turned the light off. I just realized I was like, she probably doesn't want her
Real,
background just on
real theater
display.
heads, real theater heads think that Babylon's going to win retroactive Oscars one day.
Yes. Oh yeah.
It
No, they're
will.
still very heavy on that.
The Babylon Hive runs deep.
Yep.
You can see the ad. She's got an Avatar poster up there too, which she
Oh, never
said
mind. We're back. We're back.
she said Zoe Saldana was actually just accepting for Avatar 1 and 2 tonight.
Yeah,
That's how we
she's a box office champ, dude. She's one
yeah.
of the best of all, or the singular best of all time, right? As far as highest grossing woman.
Hmm.
Uh, Editing went to Honora. Conclave was the favorite, but Honora takes the win, beat Wicked, The Brutalist, and Conclave as well. Sorry, just mentioned that before. But yeah, Honora. I mean, editing was amazing. Sean Baker, obviously, like the biggest winner of the night
Yeah.
everywhere across the board, and it is. It's amazingly edited. And I think if you, it's one of those movies that I've realized over the last few months, where like as people were hearing about the hype and starting to watch it, like either you love it or you hate it. Some people just didn't love it, And if you're not into that sort of movie where it's like very high paced, high energy, kinetic, anxiety inducing, then you're not going to like it. But I think that that was the purpose, and it was delivered. It is you're on the edge of your seat throughout the entire middle of that or basically middle to the end of that movie, and it's really well put together.
He uh he made a comment on stage, and a lot of times when these people who win make these comments, you're like, oh, okay. Or like someone will come up and be like, I can't believe I got the role. I stink at acting. To do one of those things. He joked. He's like this movie was if you saw the first cut, this was saved in the editing room. And that wasn't like a joke from him. If you watch his one-on-one from Variety, right, with Brady Corbett, he talks pretty extensively about how big of a disaster the editing process was for Honor. Like at first it was bad. He was like it was not in good shape. So that was actually that's a pretty genuine compliment, which I found pretty cool.
Hmm.
No, I mean Sean Baker. We'll talk about him later tonight. I mean, he cleaned up.
He had a great fucking night.
This is I mean a crazy night, like just insane.
Hmm.
I don't even know how to like put it in context of like. I was trying to think of a way to put it in
There is
sports.
no
I mean,
context.
it's like
the greatest
Shohei
night.
Ohtani.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
it's
like
like
record setting.
Well, yeah, I guess well, yeah, that's actually you did put in good context. Show it's just crazy, but in terms of like Oscar context, there is no context. It's
Yeah.
literally that historic.
Yeah, that he is now like the banner for the best night of any single person, I guess, would have as far
Yep.
as Hollywood mind has of all time. Best supporting actress went to Zoe Saldana, beating Felicity Jones, Monica Barbaro, Ariana Grande, and Isabella Rossellini. Very weak field, super weak field. So it's not something where like you look at that and you're like, oh well, she didn't deserve to win. She didn't deserve to win. I don't think she was like the best part of a not good movie, but like that shouldn't be the indicator of success as far as like Oscars go. But like you look at her performance, you look at that field of performances, she's probably the best. So that's not like something I'm gonna get super up in arms about.
Yeah, I mean, Amelia Perez in general was. I'm just glad we don't have to talk about Amelia Perez anymore. That's kind of my
Right.
biggest takeaway from all this. Like some of the things it was nominated for, I, I knew it was nominated when you see it flash up on screen. It's like, what the fuck? Like, how is this nominated for this award? How's it nominated for this award? Back Zoe Saldana winning that award though, I think is justified. So it's like kind of whatever. And I also like I don't think you should win an award based on what you've done in your career. Now that obviously happens. Not to say that Leo was bad in The Revenant, but I don't think most people would say The Revenant was his best role he's ever been nominated for. I'm sure many would even not even say like I'm sure many would say not like top there. They pick many other ones, but very clearly it was like his time. And I'm not saying Zoe Saldana is comparable to Leo in that sense, but she is someone who's like been in 5 out of the 6 highest grossing movies of all time, or 4 out of the 6 highest grossing movies of all time, and had a major role in all 4 of them. So she's someone who's had a insane stamp on Hollywood. So it's kind of cool to see her win an Oscar. Like I do think that's pretty neat.
And
And
that
she
makeup Oscar, by the way, has happened in
Stinks.
this category pretty recently, like 2 years ago with Jamie Lee Curtis, where she won over people who are much more deserving. And in this case, there's not many people in the field much more deserving. So
I still would have taken Ariana Grande. I think it's funny that the two of them performed beginning of the show and they were just knockout. Just their voices are incredible.
such a good start. That's one thing I just realized I forgot to put on the part at the beginning of it. Their opening with Over the Rainbow was so
Yeah,
fucking good. Like high energy right to start. Really good.
I
that
don't.
was like the thing I was like least looking forward to, honestly. Like it was like, how are they gonna do these like wicked performances in here to like not make them just
Again.
like we've just been over inundated with Wicked for the past 6 months. And they absolutely crushed it. Like just knocked it out of the fucking park in that production.
Hmm. But shout out to Zoe Saldana. Production design went to Wicked. Speaking of Wicked, beat Conclave, Nosferatu, Dune 2, and The Brutalist. Like Wicked, like especially when you look at some of the shot, they do that whole thing where like they do they show you like the setup and like how they built it. Like even you're looking at that, like the way they built up Oz is crazy. The
Yeah, the
amount of
sets
effort
were
they put into it,
nuts.
dude, crazy, and it looked great. And that's something I remember when at least when I saw the trailer, I remember saying like this looks like this big over manufactured CGI mess. And it really, they had a lot of physical shit on it, and it looked really good.
Mm.
Sets you in that world well, so well deserved win.
Yeah, there are good nominees in that category too. But when you see the sets they built, it's like okay, that's yeah, like that's especially for a movie like that. You're right. Like that's one of those ones that you expect nowadays to be this big over reliant on CGI bullshit. But which is funny because obviously the big knock on that movie that people have when they get technical is the color of the movie. But if there is one thing that they absolutely honed in on, it was production because everything there did look great.
Yeah, no, that's took the words right out of my mouth, Jeff, because I think the cinematography just does not do it justice. It's so
No.
frustrating when you see those behind the scene clips that they were showing during that production design category, and you just see they plant those just acres and acres of flowers and like all of that just goes into it. It looked incredible. Very deserving win. If they're going to win anywhere tonight, this is where it should have been.
Speaking of that same basic sentiment, best original song went to El Mal from Emilia Perez. Whatever. Yeah, like oh, this is a terrible
This
category.
was the worst group of cat.
One of the
This
worst.
was
I
a
mean, I gotta pull it up. It's
Let's see, best original song.
Mick Jag. They got Mick Jagger out there though. That was kind of cool.
that was
Dude, he
neat.
still's got some swagger. He came out like ready to go.
He's
Making Bob Dylan
84.
jokes.
Yeah, he's 84. Damn. I mean, yeah, I mean, he had to be old, but still, like in my brain,
He he looks just the same age he was when he performed the Super Bowl in like 2004.
yeah.
Like he's 81, 80. Still, it looks incredible for 81.
So like last year's
Um,
Barbie, what was I made for? Like that was fine. I'm
yeah,
just
but you look
can't
at the so yeah, look at the nominees from the last. Okay, so last year there were a lot of good nominees though, right? Like there were some lame ones. By the way, shout out Diane Warren, 0 for 16, one of the greatest losers in Oscar
all-time
history.
loser.
Yeah. Um, look, you had Barbie had very recognizable music. Okay, year
Did you
before that,
did
you
you
had
by the way, did you hear the people in the like crowd when Diane Warren's name came up? They're like, Diane,
Yeah,
keep your head up. Like you could hear them.
yeah, bro.
um, yeah, that RR song, which was one of the
Not
best
to,
Oscar.
baby.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Year before that, you had No Time to Die.
Hmm.
You had Encanto. Before that, I don't really the COVID Oscars are like not a real thing, so we'll give that a pass. You had Elton John one year before that. You had a Frozen song. You had Toy Story. You had Black Panther the year
Shallow
before that.
before
You had
that.
A Star Is Born. You had Coco. Like go back. Like this is one of the worst. That
Zero
COVID year was a
bangers.
pretty bad year in terms of nominees, but this was like bottom of the fucking. They literally on broadcast said, "Scan this QR code if you want to hear the music that we're about to award." Like they're like this shit doesn't deserve our attention on this show. If you care that much, scan this on the screen and go listen. You're just trust us, it's not good. So
Dude, and then
terrible
on top of that,
category.
that song winning El Mall, and then that French lady coming up and just trying to sing on stage was just
Oh,
brutal. So brutal, dude. It was
get the
so
fuck off the stage.
that was tough. It was a really bad year for best original song. But a good year for best sound, which went to Dune 2, beating out Wicked, A Complete Unknown, Amelia Perez, and Wild Robot. Dune 2 was, I mean, the sound they eat, and again, when they show some of the clips, like the fucking atomic bombs going off, like the worms coming out of the sand, like all that shit, man. Such good sound design, really well deserved as well.
Yeah, I'm just glad it won the couple of awards that it did. I still think Dune wins Best Picture if it comes out in November.
Mm,
Like I just think I think that's the case. And if it doesn't win, it's a movie that we come into the night thinking can win. It came out a year ago. It came out a year ago last week.
yeah,
The
Like
worst part is this was the year. This was a
yeah,
bad
bad year.
year.
Like a weak field, and now it's gonna come out, if I'm not mistaken, with like the Odyssey and like
yeah.
quite a few other good things I think are on that slate. I was looking through the IMAX release schedule. Like there's some
Though
big.
I will say the one thing that might put in its favor is no one going to win again. Where in
Yeah.
2 years'
Mhm.
time, the you saw tonight the way people who won for doing up on stage and I guess I don't.
Yep.
You're not supposed to use this term endearingly, but I'm gonna use it. They glazed Denny Villeneuve. Like
Yeah.
clearly in 2 years, if he's which he hasn't, because he's not there's a movie coming out until then. There's gonna be like, okay, knock the door down. He's got to fucking win something at some point. So maybe the timing is gonna work out for that, and hopefully it's great. I mean, I haven't read Messiah. I know a lot about doing Messiah and like what happens. Obviously, he may change some things. I don't know if it's gonna land.
Hopefully, based on some things that I've heard about.
Yeah, and that's not people's, but like I also trust him to kind of do. I think he's made some good creative choices, and they obviously trust him after the second one. So
Mhm.
Him itching to come back as badly as he has been and like not wanting to put it on the back burner even for a minute
right,
and just being like, let's fucking do this. I got an idea. We're gonna absolutely knock this out of the park. That gives me a lot of hope that he
yeah,
feels that confident that like he's like, let's do it.
And Dune 2 also won Best Effects, beating out Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, Wicked,
Hmm.
Better Man, and Alien Romulus. Alien Romulus, just to give a shout out, incredible effects for the budget. Really looked fantastic. Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes as well. Like that was a movie where I was so afraid that was going to be asked because of like the lack of circus and also director's names I'm blanking on was not involved. Uh,
Westball replaced
Westball,
Reeves.
yes, replaced Matt Reeves on it, and I was like, this is going to be, I don't know, this would be tough. It looked fantastic. It was a really good movie. But yeah, the effects on Dune 2 really tough to beat. I mean, that's some unbelievable shit as far as like scale goes, like and looking real, unbelievable.
The greatest sci-fi effects ever put on screen. Like
Agreed.
they're baffling to look at.
Hmm.
Very happy Dune won, but I will say, I hope Planet of the Apes has never won. A Planet of the Apes
Yeah, it's
movie
kind of
has
crazy.
never won in this category. It's
Yeah.
crazy. So hopefully they do. I mean, they're gonna have two more chances here coming up soon, but hopefully they get one soon.
Yeah. Cinematography went to The Brutalist, beating out Nosferatu, Dune 2, Maria, and Emilia Perez. I mean, The Brutalist, I feel like was the favorite for a while. I mean, it looks when you look at that movie, it is an absolute work of art. It is unbelievable
Yeah.
to look at. And then you look at that cinematographer come out looking like Nosferatu himself, and it's like,
Oh,
whoa,
oh.
whoa.
Lol.
Oh wait, no, 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 no. That was
LOL.
the composer. Wait, never mind. The
Score. You're right.
composer's
You're
in
right.
there
You're right.
too.
You're right. Yeah, that was
But yeah,
Lol Crowley was
yeah,
the
Lol
Mhm.
Crowley,
cinematographer.
yeah. Well, but
I I think Greg Fraser should have won again for Dune. He won for Dune 2 years ago. I still think Dune looked the best out of any movies here. However, I can't really complain because the Brutalist did deserve it. And he is, I give Brady Corbett a lot of credit. He's a big reason why the movie looked as good as it did. But on a $10,000 budget, your cinematographer making the movie look the scale and size that it did for how little money that was actually put into that movie. It's that opening shot. People talk about all the time, that opening shot of the upside down Statue of Liberty. And I've read some stories about people talking about like, their production limitations for shooting around the Statue of Liberty and like how they have to hide things because they couldn't shut down Ellis Island, the Statue of Liberty, and all that stuff. And so for the shots that they did to give it this kind of crazy angle and stuff and make it look huge and look like $100 million movie and not $10,000, it is like I would have liked Dune to win, but like that's a cool cinematography win.
Mhm.
very well
Very
deserved.
deserving. Yeah.
Best international movie went to I'm Still Here. Great, fantastic, fantastic movie. Beat Emilia Perez, The Seat of the Sacred Fit. Another great movie, which more people should watch that
Didn't
as
look like it
well.
was going to for a while. That
Yeah,
that that only flipped in the last like 2 weeks or so. I'm Still Here became the favorite. That's why I actually said that I thought Neil Pred's still a decent bet. I'm like, all signs have been pointing to it, and all of a sudden I'm Still Here. Though the I'm Still Here campaign was so intense, they
hmm
campaigned
Don't
so hard
ever
for that fucking
fucking
movie.
count out Brazil, brother. Don't
Yeah, it's
ever
true.
count out Brazil.
Yep,
They were
it's true.
going so hard for that movie.
yeah.
Hmm.
And again, really good movie. So on top of that,
Yeah.
Yeah,
also just makes it a little bit a little cherry on top. Versus a movie
Mhm.
like Emilia Perez. Oh, and also beat Flo and The Girl with the Needle.
I think
Also,
I think that's the big thing we need to remember here, that it beat Amelia Perez. Like
yep,
that's like Amelia Perez, what did they win? One tonight? Just for Saldana?
yeah. So Danya, yep.
yeah, just supporting.
Uh
13
so
nominations.
good night, my book.
One win. It's fucking crazy. It's gotta be it's the all-time Oscar loser of all time. It has to be, right? Like it has to be a record for most losses.
It is one of the
That's a good
biggest losers
question.
ever.
Yeah. Best score went to The Brutalist, beat Wild Robot, Conclave, Emilia Perez, and Wicked. I feel like with Wicked, it's kind of tough because like that's not their songs. Like they didn't like I don't know, like you could be like, yeah, it's their performance of it, sure, but like it's tough for me to in my head give that to them. But some the other ones are, I mean, incredible. The Wild Robots was amazing. Conclaves was really good. Amelia Perez, whatever.
I thought Conclave was going to win the score,
Really good.
because he won for All Quiet on the Western Front a couple years ago. I mean, again, this is deserving. That main theme for Brutus is incredible.
Hmm.
I love Wicked. Wicked being nominated for this category makes absolutely no sense to me. It makes no sense because
Yeah.
there's two things at play. One, Hans Zimmer was not allowed to be nominated because he didn't have enough original music differentiating from the first to the second Dune.
Stupid.
Okay, fine. What Wicked's entire score, it's just their song. Like if you listen, like it's defying gravities in the score basically. Like how is that not the same? Like those aren't even remotely original songs. It's from, so I don't know. Like I'm sure there's a technical way that can be explained to me, but I'm like that doesn't make any sense. It's a good score, but like how can that be qualified but not Hans Zimmer? And then of course the Challenger score not being nominated
Yep.
is
That's
bad
crazy.
shit.
I was just about to say,
Crazy. That's
like
such a
Challengers
good
That,
just
score.
that's
Challengers
just
just not
nuts.
being in it is one of the crazier snubs I can
Yeah, it's
ever
just
remember in this category.
Even
and those guys
cinematography
aren't
too.
people who don't
They've
get
won.
like
Yeah.
Atticus Ross, like they get nominated, so it's very odd. They're not like long time snubbed people, so it is strange that they just ended up getting snubbed.
Yeah.
Yeah, they won for Soul like 2 years ago, right? 3 years ago.
Yeah, yep.
Believe
Hmm.
so. By the way, Amelie Perez was 2 wins. They also had the best song, the El Mal one, in the
Oh,
weakest
right, right,
category
right,
maybe
right.
of all
Who
time.
gives a fuck about that?
Yeah, no one gives a shit. That's a fake win. Even you could say the best actress,
Deadball.
supporting actress is a fake
Deadball
win.
era.
Yeah.
Playing against a
Uh,
90 or you're playing against a plumber.
literal plumber.
90-year-old Elton
And
John and Bernie
and they
Taupin.
had 2 songs nominated, which should also be illegal in that category, and for a category like that.
That's true.
So the best actor went to Adrian Brody, who obviously we talked about, did this big speech, beat Ray Fiennes, Coleman Domingo, Timothy Chalamet, and Sebastian Stan. Brody was unbelievable in The Brutalist. Ray Fiennes is also very, very good. Coleman Domingo, unbelievable, so good in Sing Sing. And like again, we talk about this with Chalamet. This is not his best performance of the year. It's not the best performance of his career. It's not like he wasn't the best performer in the movie. Like there's so many levels to his nomination where it's like I love Timothy Chalamet. He's awesome. He's the best. And like Jeff was saying before, I'm gonna be very, very happy when he wins for a good movie and a good role. So I think that'll be way more gratifying than if it went for this. Similar to Leo winning, like you said, with The Revenant. And Sebastian Stan I thought was good too, but not nowhere close to the level of what's his name? Jeremy Strong as Roy Cohn.
Also important to it would have sucked if we had those pictures of Timothy Chalamet for the rest of our like lives of like him winning his first Oscar and he's wearing that fucking
Laughing
yellow
cat.
Charlie Day suit, the
Yeah.
Dayman suit, which I love his personal style, but like that would have been a tough like that's the picture we have of him forever. It's like
Mm-hmm.
him in that popcorn colored suit.
You look like a slab of butter, dude. Like,
He is gonna have. Hey, fuck, maybe it'll be Paul Atreides in a couple years. He'll have
Mhm.
his moment. Um, and I was very happy that Brody won until Brody opened his mouth.
but yeah,
And then I was like, all
just
right,
kept
well
going.
now fuck off, like enough already. Like
Dude,
He
yeah,
did
it
it like
takes
one
up
of his
time.
ins. Have you guys ever watched his Instagrams? He's just walking around like New York and like
Yeah.
Bushwick and Williamsburg. He's just like, it's New York City. How we doing today, fellas? It's
Dude,
cold
he's like
out.
this in
Like he was doing
between.
that same cadence, like just not trying to say anything.
Yeah. He had like that in between. Whenever there's not a Holocaust movie going on, he's like in the dumps. Like he's got nothing going on.
yeah,
He's like taking up some bad, like C movie roles. And all of a sudden, like one of these roles comes out and he again comes out of the tunnel like LeBron. Best director went to Sean Baker, delivered an awesome speech. Talking about how people need to make sure that they get people into theaters and watch movies in small independent movie theater chains, and how all these movies theaters are closed during COVID, and like we need to go out and support them. Really, really good speech. He beat out Corbet, Mangold, Audiard, and Farge. He's the best. He had the best directing job out of that grouping, and I'm fine with it. So, I mean, everyone should be cool with that. He was unbelievable. But I will say, Corbet coming out of fucking nowhere to make The Brutalist was nuts. So, but Sean
he's
Baker never made a bad movie.
so I mean I've seen his other movie Vox Lux or whatever the fuck it's
Oh
called.
yeah, with Natalie Portman.
Yeah.
Natalie Portman, yeah. I like Brady Corbett a lot. I've loved his interviews. He also does feel like a guy who, with like the one wrong choice here or there, we just don't hear from him again. Like I don't know why. It's like that's one of those things that's so out of nowhere where I do hope we hear from him again. I hope he's just given the right roles. I hope he or excuse me, right movies or scripts. Or I hope he picks
Projects.
the
Yeah.
right ones. Because I would like to see him make another movie. But it's one of those. It's so out of nowhere. You're like, damn.
I think that guy who directed Buffalo 66, fucking Vince, God, that's gonna bother me. But yeah, no, I know what you're saying though. Like just one wrong move and he just ends up making movies for $10,000 for the rest of his career.
Vincent
Um,
Gallo, good call.
Vincent
It,
Gallo,
it's
yes.
neat having it just having Baker win is awesome. Just this independent, very focused on theaters. Guy's speech was fucking incredible at movie theaters. And the second he put that award down, I knew exactly what he's about to talk about. Because you watched any Sean Baker interview, you knew the second he gets. I bet there are people home like, oh, he's gonna wax poetic about politics. And he's like, nah, go to fucking theaters, bitch. He's like,
Watch
stop watching at
movies.
home.
Start watching some goddamn movies.
And I was on YouTube TV. You experienced it the second his speech was over, and on an all-time bit of irony, Hulu broke down.
Yeah, Hulu broke down. YouTube TV, I
That's
guess, also broke
unbelievable.
down.
You
Like,
bitches need Fubo.
Yeah, you were watching on like fucking this janky ass Walmart
I
version of
was
a
watching
streamer,
on
and yours was
Fubo.
fine. And I was on like Hulu didn't work, YouTube TV wasn't working, not in the and so I missed the entire presentation of Best Actress and Best Picture, which is unbelievable. So fuck you, Hulu. I mean, that was unreal for that to cut out during that moment. And I was like, maybe it's just me, maybe my internet's bad. Nope, everybody. But yeah, Best Actress went to Mikey Madison, beat Demi Moore, who was the favorite, Fernanda Torres, Cynthia Erivo, Carla Gascon. The Mikey Madison was the beating heart of that movie, which is incredible. So like it's very you could feel for Demi Moore because like you kind of at least in my head I'm like that might be her last shot at something like this. But at the same time, like Mikey Madison was unreal, such a talented actor.
Yeah. Also, I got to note there's something about Baker. Baker. It was over when they trotted QT out there.
Yeah.
Because he's a big he's a big influence on Sean Baker, and he is the reason why he cast Mikey Madison in Honora was the end of Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. And with the directing, sometimes you just know when they know, and they just like they know how to do it right. No, not always. They obviously completely edited around how they did the COVID Oscars and tried to give a posthumous Oscar to Chadwick Boseman when he lost, and then Anthony Hopkins wasn't even there. So that was so. I guess it doesn't always work out, but yeah. So no, but she's great. Should be a household name. Great actress. Transformative role. Just awesome. Just on screen almost the entire movie. Just excellent. So good.
Mhm.
And one thing I will say about Mikey Madison, we've had a lot of Best Actor, Best Actress winners in recent years take their Oscar and take on some dog shit roles. I'm looking at you, Ariana DeBose, looking
Oh yeah.
right
Oh,
at you.
Dude, on a
Uh,
real bad
Mikey
streak.
Madison strikes me as the kind of person who's gonna like take one role every couple of years, and it's gonna be something very interesting and very worth watching. Like
She
she does not seem like she's gonna take on fill up her filmography, and she's been pretty vocal about that throughout this circuit.
she's got nothing else upcoming right now, as of right, at least on
Yeah,
IMDb. And I
she
would
said
agree with
she's
you.
gonna take a break for a little while.
she's
That's
got a
crazy.
big. She's got a like a Nolan movie in her future, or something like that. Like
Yeah.
she's got like a
Mhm.
big time director movie, definitely. I think
It is funny you
coming up at
mentioned in
some
our
point.
chat, Gooch, like half of Hollywood is missing because they're all in
They're
Morocco
they're all in
shooting.
Marrakesh, yeah.
Yeah, shooting The
Because
Odyssey.
I was waiting for Zendaya because Zendaya always shows up to these things and
Uh,
shows up with like just the most beautiful outfit on that just breaks the internet. People go nuts for it. And so I'm like waiting for it so I can put it up on social. Like, where the fuck is she? And then I'm like, where the fuck is like Matt Damon, Tom Holland, Robert Pattinson? And then I'm like, oh, they're all across the sea shooting goddamn Odyssey. They'll be
shooting
back.
it.
They'll be back next year though. They'll all be back.
Yeah. Best Picture, last one, beating Conclave, The Brutalist, The Complete Unknown, Emilia Perez, The Substance, Dune Part 2, and I'm Still Here was Nora. I watched back part of the speech and after the fact, I mean, and Sean Baker's just the best. Again, this dude's
Mhm.
unbelievable, never made a bad movie. He's championing people going to the theaters and watching shit. It's hard, really, really difficult not to love this dude. He's so good.
Yeah, it's again. I mean, we've got some interesting winners recently. I mean, the Daniels won. They're obviously kind of out there.
Yeah.
Bong Joon-ho winning was huge. Shout out Mickey 17, the last decent movie I'm excited to see in theaters in the next like three fucking Bleak. The movie's coming out sooner. It's Bleak. There'll be some
Working Man
surprises
comes
that
out
we
this
don't
weekend.
expect. Which one?
A Working Man, starring Jason Statham,
Yeah,
directed by
David
David
Ayers.
Ayers.
Or Don't Breathe? Or what was that one called last week? Like Deep Breath or something? I wasn't able to
Yeah,
see
yeah,
it. So
yeah.
anyway, so but it is just to see someone like him who's so out there, so different. Some people don't fucking like him because like the people think he has like right wing
Yeah.
some horseshit. Like who fucking cares? Like he is his own guy. What if you watch any interview with him, anything you can find on YouTube? If you're a fan of movies, it is so worth watching. Watching him talk about things and talk about movies, and he's brutally honest. And he will shit on something just as much as he'll praise something and be honest about like what he likes, what he doesn't like, what influences him. So to see him win is it's cool, and to be he's the winningest ever now. And he's like, no offense to Walt Disney, but Walt Disney won for like, that's more of like this guy won for editing it, writing it, directing it, and then fucking producing it. And that's as baller as it
That's
gets.
it. Is
So
baller as hell.
I didn't this movie also this is my main point on Best Picture. the new Academy now dominates the old Academy. It's like 6,400 to our shout out our guy Walt Hickey at awards.substack.com. It dominates old Academy. It's like 60-70% now. This movie doesn't win 5-6 years ago.
No.
Conclave wins. Conclave wins going away. But now with the new Academy, a movie like this wins. And I'm still like not used to it yet. And I think a lot of people aren't either because I'm like, man, is Anora really going to win? Is that softcore porn with screaming and chaos really going to win? Not that there haven't been crazy movies that have won awards and like Everything Ever All at Once won Best Picture. That's a crazy movie, Parasite. But you're like, man, like I don't know. Like, and now it's like, okay, clearly the new Academy has the reins, and movies like this can win. You know, you're not going to get like the Green Book. Not to say Conclave's the Green Book, but I'm just saying Conclave would have won. That's a very old school Best Picture pick.
Mhm.
It's very safe, like appeals to four
Yep.
quadrants, very specifically the old quadrant.
Safe
Nora's a
until it's
cool
kind of
bit.
crazy.
Yeah, Nora's a great win. I would have gone the Brutalist. I think the Brutalist ages better as the best picture win. Like you look
Sure.
back and you're like, oh yeah, this holds up very well. I don't know how Nora's going to hold up. It's extremely 2024. Like you'll look back and you will immediately be transported back to this year, this past year. So it's interesting. I'm just happy that either Anora or the Brutalist won. Anora coming away. A lot of these other Best Picture nominees, I would have been like, what the fuck? Like Wicked winning, Conclave winning. I would have been like, this is uninspired. Doom Part 2 is out of the picture. Would have loved that over anything. Just
Would have
wasn't
won
gonna
had they
happen.
not released it in fucking February,
Yeah.
What's the earliest they could have released it, you think? Like the cutoff date?
late summer,
Late summer? Yeah.
late summer. But I
Yeah.
think I think that would have given it a chance. I think if this comes out in November, it wins Best Picture. I think it had so much momentum when it came out last year, earlier in the year, but it came out at the worst time. Came
They
out at
also
a
like
terrible
didn't
time.
run it. They didn't run a campaign for this shit at all.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
They
the
might have
same
not
stupid
thought they had a
reason.
chance just because like anytime they have like a big blockbuster or whatever, I feel like they rarely think they have an actual chance.
Yeah.
Which is crazy because it's again ever like there are people who are clearly irritated that it wasn't getting more recognition. I'll tell you the another big thing that stuck out with Best Picture is Neon is dominant at getting things pushes for winning Best Picture. Parasite obviously, but Anatomy of a Fall, Triangle of Sadness, they all got nominations for Best Picture. Where on the other side, A24 has problems
Yeah.
with the way
Yeah.
they push their movies with awards. The fact that Sing Sing fell off as much as it did is kind of insane. I know last year it did get two nominated for Best Picture, got Zone of Interest, Past Lives, but A24, like they've won some things, but and Everything Ever All at Once was also a win. But like The Brutalist, Sing Sing, like I don't know, like how did that the AI thing come out as late as it did about The Brutalist? Like that's
Crazy.
crazy, crazy.
Yeah. I saw a funny Nora tweet, by the way. The guy said, "My dad had no idea what a Nora was. So when Sean Baker thanked all the sex workers, he's like, is this guy really just loves hookers?" It's just, like if you don't know, if you're just watching the Oscars and you don't know the movie, yeah, I would see that same thing. But yeah, that's
By the way, Amelia Perez tied the record, 11 losses.
who was the tied with?
There's one recently, one
Okay.
in the
Hold
last
on.
4 years.
Yeah.
Think about it and then guess. I'll tell you the other four.
Within the
Other
last
three.
four
Johnny
years.
Belinda in 1948 went 1 for 12. Beckett in 1964 went 1
Barbie?
for 12. Turning Point went 0 for 11 in 1977. Color Purple went 0 for 11 in 1985. And Something went 1 for 12 very recently.
Barbie?
No.
Yeah, that lost a lot, didn't it?
No, because it won like production. I think it won like, I thought it won some technical stuff too.
I
Oh,
think it
so
did
one
win
like
like
best
production
song.
design sounds right.
I'll give you a
Yeah.
hint. The one award it won was Best Director. It won Best Director and it lost 11 other times. This movie
Jesus Christ.
Within the
came
last
out in the
4 years.
last 4 years.
So the
Came
last
out
four
since
were
the COVID Oscars.
so the last four were Daniels. Who's before Daniels? Shit. I'm so bad with Oscar history. My brain breaks with this shit, dude. Um, give me one more hit.
Female directed it.
Oh, Power
Oh,
of the Dog.
Power of the Dog. Yep.
Power of the Dog. That's right. I forgot about
another
that.
1 for
Netflix.
12.
Fucking Bronco Henry jerking off into the rag or whatever the
If
fuck that was.
if A24 has problems getting wins, then whatever the fuck Netflix is doing, Jesus Christ.
Dude.
Barbie went 1 for 7.
Oh,
Yeah, close.
It lost picture, actor, actress, screenplay, costume, product. Technically not because it was nominated for song twice. So I feel like you can like scratch that.
yeah.
Yeah. It did feel like like maybe it's just because like they had a lot more social sentiment, but if I was like in my brain, I'm like, wow, they had a ton of award nominations, and obviously they had the big performance,
Yeah,
just
yeah.
all that shit. So yeah, but yeah, that's the Oscars for this year.
Oh,
If
sorry.
you
One
were
more thing. This is gonna piss Ken Jack off. Do you know who else they forgot in the fucking in memoriam?
who
Alon Delon.
One of
did they forget?
the
They forgot him?
Yeah, but
one
he's
of
also kind of a problematic guy, so I think
Yeah,
that's
whatever, man. I mean, I have half the people on that fucking list. Whatever.
a
that's
guy
true.
who has one of the greatest pump up speeches before a battle in the history of cinema.
Who died that had a great...
Oh, Lance Reddick.
Lance Wright did die. They forgot him. That is true though.
They did. Yep. No, it's not who I'm talking about.
I thought you were talking about 300
Nope.
300.
because he was
The
One
king
more
in.
hit.
himself, Bernard Hill.
Oh,
He's
damn, that's
Hayden. Yeah,
right. And I mean, he was in
and
a
he
lot of
wasn't
good
in it.
movies too.
Titanic. He's in one of the most winningest movies in the history of the Oscars.
And Titanic and Lord of the Rings, two of the most winningest movies of all time,
He's
and two of
he's
the
he's
highest
in
grossing movies.
he's in because he's not he's in Two Towers and so he's in three movies that probably combined to win like 40 Oscars.
Yeah,
And he's got a huge role in all three of them. And he was not in the memoriam. That's crazy.
that's insane. I mean, Riddick is in retrospect because he had a lot of outpour when he passed. But yeah, dude, that's Bernard Hill's nuts. That's fuck, man. That's insane. And
It's a
that,
pretty
as far as
fumbled
like,
segment.
Craziness.
Looking back, it's a pretty bad segment.
yeah, all across the board. By the way, just as
Strange.
far as like that actor goes, like that moment in Lord of the Rings: Return of the King where he gives that speech, that's one of like the cinema moments. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
For death, blah, blah, blah. Like that is one of the best cinematic in theater moments I've ever had in my entire life, if not the singular best. That's unbelievable to not have that.
22. Oh, okay. 2001, two. He was in three movies that won a combined 24 Oscars.
Jesus Christ, dude.
That's crazy. Crazy.
That's nuts, man. R.I.P. to Bernard Hill. I actually was rewatching Fellowship of the Ring, Gooch's favorite one, Sicko, the couple days ago. Man, just extendos hit different every now. You need to like get those reps in every now and then. Just hit the extendos. They're so fucking good.
Yep.
But yeah, that's the Oscars. We will, if you're watching this, go
Wait, wait,
vote
wait.
on the God.
Before we sign off, who are you
Yeah.
guys picking for? Who's winning the 2026 Oscars? Make your pick now. Best picture.
Okay.
You don't have to do, we don't have to do every category, but just best picture.
Hated of 2025. Let's see. Where I
Yeah, I
forget
need
because
to.
I feel like every time I do this exercise, I always forget. Like, oh yeah, this movie's coming out.
I
Yeah, it'll
don't
probably be like a small
think.
release.
Yeah, that's the thing is there's going to be something missing that I don't think that the PTA movie is like a comedy, right? It's very different than regular PTA things.
I think
Battle
so.
of Bacton Cross.
Um,
We got Superman. We got 28 Days. This is all
the
blockbusters.
Guillermo del Toro Frankenstein movie.
Ooh,
Ooh, they'll love that. If they gave it to that fish fucker movie, they'll give it to that.
That's true. Yeah.
Mission Impossible: Final Reckoning. Can you imagine? Big T. The franchise
yes,
goes out with a fucking bang. Something
dude.
tells me that's not going to.
They're never giving Tom Cruise anything, unfortunately.
Which is a fucking shame. I actually rewatched Mission Impossible today while I was over doing shit. So, I
I'm going.
rewatched
I'm
Rogue Nation.
going Marty
For,
Supreme. Now that I'm looking at it,
mm,
releases Christmas Day. Josh, a Safdie movie with Timothy
Safdie
Chalamet.
Chalamet.
Yeah. We'll see how Sinners is from Coogler. Unfortunately, I think Mickey 17 is coming out too early, though the initial reviews were like okay, and then I think a lot of people like it's kind of gone up in terms of what people I think it's almost up to 90% around Tomatoes. So I do think Mickey 17 that might have staying power just solely because it's Bong Joon-ho and obviously they're very good at putting those movies.
Ooh,
I'm gonna
Wicked
rule
for
out
Good. I
Karate
forgot.
Kid Legends.
That
Karate
looks
Kid
good.
Legends. Yeah.
It looks good.
Um,
Avatar: Fire and Ash. That's if they're giving a nomination to some of those other ones.
That's
yeah, you'd
actually
assume it's gonna
not
get one, right? Why would it not?
Yeah.
it's not that
Um,
crazy.
Let's
Trying to think
see.
what else. I'm just seeing what else. I do. You think the Michael Jackson biopic gets nominated?
Oh my God. Do you remember when they tried to make one with Ray Fiennes' brother? I
Oh
think it was
yeah.
Joseph
Oh,
Fiennes, and they just all they did was show one still of it, and they canceled the entire project because of the backlash. It was so bad.
there is
Uh,
another. There is another Yorgos Lanthimos movie coming out this year.
Yeah,
Oh
dude
yeah,
pumps
Once
him
Flip
out
again
like
Gone,
with
a
Emma
yeah.
bunny.
Stone.
What else we got? Wicked for Good, I think we'll
Um,
definitely have a lot of. I mean,
Ooh.
actually, I don't know how you sign off because like the sign off of this one of the first Wicked was so like an incredible conclusion to the this Wicked. I don't know how you
yeah,
do
and
that
this
the
is
same way.
it is. I mean, I assume it's going to get nominated again, though. That is the half of the movie that people prefer.
Mm-hmm.
Half of the Broadway show that people
The play.
prefer. Another Knives Out movie coming out.
Wait, which one?
There's another
Wake
Knives
Up
Out
Dead
movie
Man.
coming out.
Oh, that's right. What's it called again? What's the subtitle?
Wake Up
Wake,
Dead Man.
yeah, Wake Up
Yeah,
Dead
yeah.
Man. Um, I think aren't Affleck and Damon doing a movie again this year?
Yes. Ooh, the Luca movie After the Hunt. Terrence Malick's got a movie coming out. Let's fucking go. The Way of the Wind.
That'll be weird as shit.
Like it's gonna be the most like long-winded movie, no pun
Yeah.
intended, to The Way of the Wind. The most long-winded movie you've ever seen. Gonna look so fucking gorgeous, going nowhere fast, like the entire time. Uh oh, David Lowery's got a movie, Mother Mary, coming out. That's gonna be scary as shit, I'm sure.
If
Uh,
Affleck and Damon make a very good movie, that'll have run just solely
yeah.
based on nostalgia.
Spike Lee's High to Low. Forgot about that as well. That there's potential. I'm just gonna say that there's potential for disaster or the greatness.
It
There's
could be. It really could be great.
it can really go in either direction. I have no idea which direction it goes. The Mastermind, The History of Sound. I do like Marty Supreme and like all the what do you call it? Set photos and stuff of it. It looked pretty cool. Like
Yeah.
all pretty physical design. Daniel Day-Lewis has an enemy coming out. What the fuck is an enemy?
Oh, is that the thing? Isn't he? Is that his son? He's acting with his son. Or it's his
Upcoming
son's
film
movie?
directed by Ronan Day-Lewis, co-written by his
Yep.
father, Daniel Day-Lewis.
Yeah.
After, of course, he retired from acting or whatever and said he's never going to act again. But yeah. Anyway, that's the Oscars. If you're watching this, make sure to vote for the Oscars, obviously our version of the Oscars, and check that out as well. But until then, we will be signing.